snacks.
Oh, what it do, snackers and snackettes and snack X's. It's your boy Gage. Sin and Jokes are in the building, right,
What's
gentlemen?
happening? Yes, sir.
And we are super pleased to have Babs Butcher hanging out with us today, at least for a little while, right?
Yes, I'm so happy to see you guys. It has been too long. We usually have an annual tradition.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And COVID said no.
No.
COVID said no. That is over. So listen, first and foremost, Babs, how are you?
I'm doing well. I watched a little bit of Space Jam tonight at my Muggle job, which is, life is good when Space Jam is playing while you're being paid work.
and we need to clarify / specify that we mean the original Space Jam.
Oh yes, Michael Jordan all the way.
Yeah, not that new LeBron James jam.
LeBron.
So Babs, for anybody who is here hanging out with us in the chat, hi to everybody in the chat. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do. We know who you are. We know you're Babs Butcher. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I am a cosplayer, and I also do, various other things. Like I create videos. Very recently, I've been learning how to fight for film, and I've been cast in a few fan film projects. So I'm kind of just in the performance realm, specifically in nerdy pop culture, and my true love where I first started was in cosplay back in I would say I really, really got good in 2018. So it's been a couple years.
Okay.
And that's what I've been doing. Everything's always evolving, just having fun with it.
Yeah. Is moving into, listen, when you started doing cosplay, even prior to what you would consider getting good in 2018, was there ever a thought in your head that you would be learning fight choreography for video?
I would say the thought of doing fight choreography came probably early 2019.
Okay.
I was friends with a really fantastic group of people, one of which is Raph Bucky Barnes, and he does a fantastic Winter Soldier, and he kind of introduced me to WWE, and he introduced me to learning all the different stunt coordinators and fight choreography within the MCU.
Yeah.
Once he was teaching me about all of that, I had my eyes open. I said, why don't cosplayers do this at con? Why don't we do this? We're bringing these characters to life in a way that is accessible to people in your region, in your area. Why aren't we really bringing them to life through the action choreography? If we've got the suits, we can do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And so that idea came to mind. It didn't come to fruition until, as a favor, Raphael, he said, hey, I really want to do Power Rangers cosplay, and hey, I really want to.
How are you?
Hey. Speaking of,
right?
Raph's in the chat.
Is he in there?
In the chat. Yeah, I'm just saying hi.
Yes. So he said, I'd really like to do a Power Rangers cosplay. I taught him how I cosplay, where to work on a shoestring budget, you kind of have to repurpose things. Sure. So I have my favorite thrift stores, and I taught him, okay, you're going to go up and down these aisles. You're going to really think about what you need and think about the materials, think about what you can do, what you can learn. And he put everything together to make a casual Tommy Oliver. He said, will you please be my Pink Ranger? My favorite was Yellow Ranger or Rita Repulsa. I never connected with the popular girl, the pretty girl, the one that everyone had a crush on, you know?
Yeah, no Kim for you, huh? And so is that how? Listen, so we're gonna show some of your work, because you ended up with this, right?
Yes, I recently made that.
Oh,
So
that's
you
was
clean.
dope.
so you have this
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Were you? I mean, obviously, you know Rita, and you picked the Yellow Ranger. Have you always been a Power Rangers fan?
So when I was younger, I mean, we've talked about this briefly before, but I grew up in a very strict household, military, half Asian, and so our favorite TV show was books, and
Got
we
it.
didn't have video games, and so when I did get to watch TV was when my obasan, my grandma, would
Mhm.
have me over at her place, and I'd turn on her cable television, and I'd watch Power Rangers, I'd watch Scooby-Doo, anything Hanna-Barbera, Cartoon
Yeah.
Network, some Disney stuff, but it was just, relegated to a certain couple of hours after school when
Yeah.
I, did a sleepover at my grandma's. And because my grandma, because we're Japanese, I looked at Rita Repulsa and I said, that looks like the women in my family. I
Yeah.
love her,
Yeah.
which is why
Yeah.
she and Trini became my favorites.
It's awesome.
So through this whole Power Rangers connection, and kind of embracing the pink. Look, I even have a pink water bottle here.
Oh yeah.
Embracing the pink. I was connected with Unworthy Productions, which is a fantastic fan film franchise on YouTube, and they said, hey, if you're going to be in our fan film, you need to get some training. You need to take this seriously.
Yeah.
And I started working with Team Raposa Fight for Film, and it's kicking my butt, but it's one of the most rewarding things that has ever happened in my adult life.
So
Dope.
speaking of Unworthy Productions,
Mm-hmm.
there is something new on the horizon, correct?
Yes. So, as some people may know, if they are a fan of Unworthy Productions,
Together.
the trailer dropped in the last couple of months for episode 4. And we just got a release date for episode 4 that releases on YouTube. And it's for Monday, I believe. Is that the 27th? 27th. Yes,
27th.
Monday the 27th.
Mhm.
For episode 4.
So listen, can we take a look at this trailer?
Absolutely.
Y'all
I
okay
would love
with that?
that. Yes.
Let's do it right now.
I'm sorry. I couldn't save you. But I swear, I will avenge you.
You never told us about your team.
You said I remind you of your mentor. What did you mean by that?
It all started with a mission. It's morphin' time.
Oh, that
Yeah.
never fails to give me full body chills. I love that.
That is
Oh,
pretty.
Jay Robert, you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
even have to like.
Jokes is probably the biggest Power Rangers. He's definitely the biggest Power Rangers fan I know, for sure. Oh man!
If you're
Oh,
not
man.
already following this, you need to. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the big things that I think about nerd communities is, any community can be really toxic and crazy and dramatic.
Mhm.
I can say with full confidence, the Power Rangers community has been one of the sweetest, most welcoming communities I have ever, like, considering that I didn't own a single thing that was pink in my wardrobe, and now I have 2 Pink Ranger suits.
Yeah.
And they welcomed me with open arms, taught me everything I need to know. I'm so grateful. It's such a great community. Unworthy, all the different fan films. There's so many really great fan films.
Jokes, I sent you have a link, right? You can drop in the chat so that people can go. So Jokes will put the link in the chat for everybody who's watching, so they can click on the link and go directly to the YouTube video themselves. Make sure you like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. That would be super awesome. Link is up now so that people can see it. Marcus said he's gonna go watch when he gets off work. I'm gonna tell you what, Marcus, it's a pretty solid watch. I'm gonna tell you that now.
It's really good.
Matt J. Sauer said he's so impressed. Domingo is as usual. What's up, Domingo? Crazy.
You gotta say it like him. Crazy.
Yo. You have to say yo because it's K. It has to be crazy, yo.
I get to be a part of that.
You do. Which is dope.
If you think about it, like, look at how, opinionated the nerd community is about, franchises building off of the things that were from our childhood. And then there are people that can sit there and complain, and then there are people that get off their butts and actually say, I'm going to do it better than anybody else.
That's right. That's right. Which is super dope. And look, Matt said, I'm going to watch them all later. You absolutely should. Black Squadron, what up? Black Squadron said subbed. That's awesome. He also said he has that helmet. Jokes. So you're not the only one.
Oh,
Babs,
no, I'm not the only one.
I want to show off some of your other work.
Sure.
I just want to kind of walk through some of this. This is pretty recent.
Clean.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. How long did it take you to put that together?
I would say if I put it all together, it's probably like 72 hours if I put it all together. But I took my time over a couple of weeks to do that. I'm really proud of that one. And I just shot it with famous TikToker Keen Kwan. I applied a lot of my Fight for Film stuff. We did full action scenes. Follow him on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. He does full on videos of action scenes. And I did it in Captain Carter.
And is that again, that's one of those things that now that you're learning that fight choreography and stuff from your Power Rangers work, now you can apply that going forward to other things, right? So
I have the bruises to prove it. I have bruises all down my back and on the back of my head.
Really? I mean, it doesn't always go exactly as we plan, right? So
I think I grew up as a tomboy. I grew up as an athlete, and I broke bones all the time, so I'm not scared of getting hurt.
Yeah. J. Robert Dean says, how many rewatches and pauses did that Captain Carter take? Because that's a solid adaptation.
So what I did was I took I think Hasbro made an action figure, so I definitely looked at that. And then I think I just kept What If on and just rewatched the episode a couple times. But the really cool thing about animation is because it's so fluid, the suit changes a little bit from frame to frame. So I can take some creative liberties if I wanted to.
That's
plus
fair.
Everything is a variant, right? We're all variants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's totally fair now. Everything is game.
Right.
All right, so let's look at a couple of other things. This Wonder Woman piece, which is really dope.
Yeah.
I really love this Batgirl. When we did your the first time we interviewed you, this is what you were wearing.
Yeah.
What an excellent hope that is, for sure. I'm a Spider-Man fan. We can't bypass anything.
Of course.
I mean, there's some good silk stuff too, but I can't take it all. But you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and Sin is a huge Rogue
Oh.
fan. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
Uh-huh.
This is really, really dope.
That is so clean.
Here's one of the things I want to say that I really love about your cosplay work is that there are some people who do cosplay and it is almost enough for them to just change their clothes, hair and makeup, and that's it. Even just in still images, you have a way of embodying the character that you don't see in everybody else's work. And I absolutely commend that. Is there something specific or special about the way that you approach, whether it's the being photographed part of it or the making side of making cosplay or something? Is there something different about the way that you approach it that you think helps to sell that or bring that through even in still images?
Yes, a couple of things. I would say one is I do pride myself on being really stubborn in that I never do a character that I don't love.
Okay.
And even if I have to learn about them, if I see them, I'm like, you know what, I really want to learn about that character, and I research and I fall in love with that character, and I really think about what it means to embody like that mindset.
Sure.
The other thing that I really love, that is a huge discussion I'm seeing a lot on TikTok in the past, couple months or so, is there's something called a male gaze and a female gaze. And it's just so badass to see people embrace female gaze. I'm not sure. Are you guys aware of what that is?
I'm
That's
sure
first
I've
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've been hit with it. No, but
So-
show us.
So male gaze, a lot about the male gaze is about the perfection of body. Male gaze wants to see Megan Fox bent over a car with an impossibly beautiful body and a perfect face. They want to see a man, Channing Tatum, ripped and perfect. Female gaze is less about the perfection of a body and more about the vulnerability and the like eyes and hands are a huge indicator of female gaze, and looking at a character and really knowing what their intentions are, and that their intentions are pure or endearing.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've really loved about the characters that I embrace, because I do like to do gender bend a lot, I like to take that masculine energy and feminine energy and make it into one, and embody something that you understand the intentions, you understand the vulnerability of the character, rather than looking perfect for the male gaze. And that's one of my favorite things to explore. I feel like I can do a lot better, but just learning about how to do that better and better with each cosplay is just making me so happy.
Like your Crow cosplay.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I want to do that again. I want to do it this Halloween, where my family is doing a Halloween Easter egg hunt, where we're gonna hide little pumpkins, and we have to find all the pumpkins. And I think I want to do Crow, I think, this year.
Absolutely should.
That'd be cool.
I think that would work phenomenally. Matt, I agree. Respecting doing only characters that you love. I think that's a super important thing. Within the geek community as a whole, like, you spend so much time paying attention to and learning the details of the things that you love, your favorite shows. Again, if you ask a Power Rangers related question, Jokes probably knows the answer. You know what I mean? Because he's poured over all of it. And I don't know Power Rangers the way that he does, right? So I give him a hard time about it because he loves it and he's younger than me, but not because I don't, you know what I mean? But I love the fact that he loves it. I really do. And I think that's an important thing about just the way that we, as people who embrace fandoms, pay attention to our things. If I have anime questions, I know Jokes knows a lot about anime, but I'm always gonna ask Sin first. I'm gonna ask him first, because even if he doesn't know, I know he knows somebody who knows. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things, right? And I just think we have to. That's just kind of how it is, right? If there's anything Spider-Man that ever shows up, trust and believe everybody.
Yes.
Oh, come straight to you.
Yes.
First. And here's the thing: I don't know. I don't have to know, right? But I can probably find out. Like, it's not that, it's not that hard. You're right, J. Robert Deans. Saban does not know Power Rangers as well as Jokes does. He just gets the checks that Jokes wish he was getting.
I have two hot takes. Can I give you my two hot takes?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna get sniped if I say this, but when Haim Saban passes, I think there's going to be a huge expose on the Power Rangers franchise. I think people are going to... Doesn't it feel like there are secrets that...
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Rich
100%.
men in the entertainment industry, it's like, I feel like on the like Harvey Weinstein level, there's going to be an expose.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not
Not
at all.
even a little bit. Not even a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if there are some stories to be told.
I think that's the reason why the Power Rangers, the actual like canon Power Rangers, why it hasn't been able to flourish the way it really should. Clearly there's something there, because you wouldn't have a fan community like there is out there without there being a nugget of like, this is really good stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that the fan films far surpass the awesomeness that is the, Disney and Saban,
quote, actual.
franchise,
Yeah.
that's
It is like
saying something.
Yeah, with Hasbro taking over now, it is going to be. I mean, granted, it's always been geared toward. Ty is here.
Hi, late Ty.
Hey,
How are
little
you,
guy.
I am here.
Thanks for showing up.
But of course, with Hasbro taking over now, it is going to be more of that. We want to make sure it stays the super kid version. Like, I do give Bandai, when they started doing the legacy run of the toys, like they were all die cast. Everything was metal. Like, it was meant for like me, like $60 morphers and $100 dragon daggers. Like, yeah, I can buy that now. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and that's, I think there's two things with franchises that were popular in our time, 80s and 90s. You have this push and pull with most franchises, are going to gear towards merch sales, toy sales. So you have a corporation versus creative integrity. And what that push and pull is like for the movies, for the TV shows, for what the original fans want and what the current fans will like, what is that called? Like, give money toward.
Oh yeah.
So there's that, and then oh gosh, what was the other thing? There's the other. Oh no, I discussed both of them. Wait, I didn't tell you my second hot take. Can I tell you the second hot take?
There we go.
And I think you'll disagree with me, but I'm living for it. So you showed my Rogue, which is, I love that shoot. It was fantastic. So one of the biggest things I see on the internet is one of the laziest takes. I don't want to hear another one.
Okay.
Most people, when they fan cast their ideal Rogue, do you know what they say?
Tell me what.
Alexandra Daddario. I'm sick of it. You like a beautiful face and a killer, ridiculous body, but you're not paying attention to the acting chops. I think you do a Deadpool situation. Ryan Reynolds did not do a good Deadpool originally. He took that on the chin, and he came back and he made it epic.
So
I think you give it back to Anna Paquin, but you give her an actual character to work with, because she's not one of the youngest Oscar winners in the history of Oscar winners for nothing. She's a great actress, and I think she could do something with something great.
I totally agree. I think that, look, I think Anna Paquin did a great job as Rogue with the script that was written for the Rogue that she played.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think those are the kinds of things that you can't really fault the actor for
Mhm.
or actress for. You know, it is what it is. I know when I watched that first X-Men film, I was like, at what point is Rogue gonna get her other powers? Like, I need her to
when it's gonna be awesome. And
I never want to see her as Rogue.
It centered on Wolverine, which I think the world is grateful for the legacy that Hugh Jackman created.
her.
I don't think it was ready for a Rogue because she got her powers, like her big powers originally from Captain Marvel. Like she is OP. She is crazy powerful and very, very sassy. And I don't think that people would have embraced that in the early 2000s.
I think the issue is, you know, with Fox being at the helm of the X-Men movies, I'm just gonna put this out there. I've said this before. The X-Men movies are not bad movies. The issue with those movies, like the second set of films after First Class, like First Class was a really, really good movie. But the issue was that they ended up having to focus on Jennifer Lawrence because Jennifer Lawrence at the time was the biggest actress. And like, she actually wasn't when they signed her, but she became the biggest actress in Hollywood and like the highest paid actress in Hollywood. And they already had her signed to like a 3-movie deal, right? Or a 4-movie deal. And they basically have not only the highest paid and one of the hottest actresses in Hollywood already signed to the film, but you basically have her signed to a deal where she's naked.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, that sells. Right. And Jennifer Lawrence is fantastic. I never joined the train. It's funny when you look at women who succeed in the entertainment industry. They get a good 5 years of solid fame and followers, and then everyone loves to drag them down. But they then like comeback story. They love the Robert Downey Jr.'s of the world that come back and take the world by storm. But women have a harder time with that, which is why, can you imagine a world where we revere Anna Paquin the way we do Ryan Reynolds? What kind of crazy world is that? And I love the thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be, those are the True Blood fans, right?
Yes.
That really love like Anna Paquin that way. See, the problem with those early movies with her was that in that movie,
she was sick of Stackhouse.
M.K. Jameson is your sex symbol. So they end up focusing on Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Femke Jameson. And so the rest of the movies became about Jean, which is not completely wrong in terms of the way X-Men work, right? Like those storylines do revolve around her. But it also made it harder because technically, as powerful and as great of a character as Rogue is, she's a secondary character. Technically, in the grand scheme of X-Men, she's a secondary character, and so the people who love her, it's a little bit more niche. She doesn't get anywhere near the love and respect she should because she doesn't get powerhouse level. Like she's a badass, like she's a fighter and a badass. Like two ways about it.
And you know, I did some research on the movie. I've been trying to write a podcast episode about that X-Men 2000 film because that was my awakening as a child. I went to the movie theaters with friends, and I went because X-Men comics, Uncanny X-Men, were my escape when I was bullied as a kid, and I was, crying alone in the corner of the room or corner of the playground. I would go to the library and I'd get whatever X-Men comic was in the library and I just immerse myself in it. That's how I found Colossus, and Colossus became my favorite character, which I then gender bent, which I love. I did get to meet Chris Claremont and he loved my rendition, so I could die happy. But I was trying to write something, and I was doing a deep dive into how how was this made X-Men 2000 film. There's a lot of scandal with Bryan Singer and that whole thing. I'm not even going to go into that, but I thought it was so interesting because in the past year, I've delved so deep into costume design, and it is amazing. And the costume designer, I believe her name is Louise Mingenbach for the X-Men movies. I think she also did some of the failed G.I. Joe movies.
Wow.
She's told to do a certain look, kind of a very Matrix inspired look, very Blade inspired look. And that's just not what the X-Men are.
Not at
So
all.
she did what she was like, just like the other actors in the film. They did what they were supposed to do, but they missed the mark on what could have made it great.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big things that restricted the characters from really reaching their potential was the fact that they were in this squeaky, restrictive leather getup
Pleather.
that
Yeah.
there's no resemblance. And think about it. Leather, you're trying to be stealth. You're like a first responder team, and you're going squeak, 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 squeak,
Yes,
squeak.
that is not the way.
And you're an organic material. If you think about X-Men, a lot of their powers, they're able to manipulate organic materials. You would want a synthetic material like an hazmat suit or a first responder suit that wouldn't be able to be manipulated by a mutant power.
In the same way. Yeah.
But that's what costume designers think of now.
Correct.
Back then in the early 2000s, they didn't know to think of those things.
And they didn't want it. They were trying to do what was popular, right? True. It's just a very different time in terms of the way. Again, these are people who maybe were familiar, like Bryan Singer was familiar with comic books, but the executives at Fox were just like, we made a lot of money off that 1992 X-Men thing, and we should do this.
We should do it again.
I mean, like that's that's really kind of what it was. Here's what I want to do. It's getting late, and I know you have a heart out. Right, you got to get out of here.
I don't. I just saw a text come down on my screen that I am free from the heart out.
Perfect.
Oh,
perfect.
Okay,
because that means we get to hang out. So check this out. Here's what I want to do. I want to check out. There were a couple of trailer drops, and we need to look at these trailers and discuss these trailers really quickly. Let's start with this one.
Think we'll make it?
Not without my team. We do this together. It all happened so fast. There was a solar flare. Goodbye crops and food, goodbye everything. So I hid. Frightened and so alone. I found you. What shall we have? Get your elbows off the table. Get your elbows off the table. All right, you're next. You see, I'm developing something interesting. Giant leap of faith. Now, if you can speak, tell me something about you.
Robots must protect dog.
If we don't go before that storm hits, we'll die, all of us. As soon as you can walk, we're leaving.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
That's falling.
1, 2.
Head west, over the mountains.
Would you like me to drive?
Don't oversteer. That's oversteering.
Sorry.
Ease your foot up just a hair. Perfect. Hey, what's all the fuss?
I learned to talk dog. I don't think it likes me. Come and see this.
Tie the RV down. Hang on to something. We should be safe once we get into the mountains. But things will happen. Like 150-degree heat, UV radiation, and people hiding in the shadows. Go now!
Do you think we'll make it?
Not without my team. What we do together.
I believe in you, Finch.
Hey, listen. Okay, look. I'm gonna just start by saying I do not have Apple TV. And
Not gonna stop me from watching it.
Who said?
Well, okay, so wait, that was like The Martian meets Short Circuit.
Yes. Meets I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of a couple movies that are just like pounded into the one.
You listen,
So okay, I will
Ruben,
watch
you're right.
anything
Robot
that
has
is
good
Tom
priorities.
Hanks.
Protect the dog. What about Tom Hanks?
I will watch anything that is Tom Hanks.
That is.
I will follow a cult religion that is let Tom Hanks.
I'll be honest with you. I am of the mind, like Tom Hanks for a long time has been my favorite actor. Like I just think there isn't anything that he can't do now. Like he just like there's just something about listening to him. Right, Heather, Castaway, but post-apocalyptic, right? In a lot of ways. That's right. There's some input. Disassemble Johnny 5 for those who know. Carla said I don't have Apple TV, but I like Tom Hanks. Do you like Tom Hanks enough to subscribe to Apple TV to be able to watch?
Wait. What about the whole fact? Okay, I'm bringing it. I know you said we might not have time, but now we do have time. The fact that Ted Lasso is the big winner of the Emmys, and I can't watch it because I don't have Apple TV.
That's right. So now you need to go get Apple TV.
But how? I want to really understand how these voters are doing their votes, because I have to say, like, all the major categories, what was it called? Emmy So White? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's definitely a real thing. In the non-popular categories, costume design,
slave.
Yeah.
Not white.
No, not at all.
Not white.
Not at all. I mean, Matt said Apple is $5 a month. You can afford it. Ty said I have Apple TV and it's wonderful. Let me tell you something, Ty. Listen, man, you are one of the least trustworthy people. Your opinions on
I wasn't going to say it.
Listen, you don't have to, Sin, because you know I will. Ty, man, I don't.
He say, "Hey, I'm gonna be on in 20 minutes." He never show up.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I have a question. Do you guys all live close to each other?
Yeah, we do.
And you guys aren't fake friends. Like, you guys actually hang out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the two of them pretty much grew up with each other. They grew up with each other.
So theoretically, if one of you has HBO, if one of you has Disney Plus, if one of you has Apple TV, then
we all got it,
right?
Yeah, we all got it. Yeah.
Yes. Don't listen. This is not a thing where like Sin's not using any of my subscription services.
No,
that is definitely
trust
happening.
me, they both have access to my entire library.
Who? Doctor Who? Are we going all the way? Who said bosom buddies? Listen, who went back that far? Was that you?
Apple TV passcode? Apple is also paying many folks back randomly the $5 fee. Okay, and I had another conspiracy theory. I was wondering if maybe Ted Lasso won so much, like got pushed so much. I hear it's a great show. Don't know, but I wonder if they're pushing Apple TV by making them win so much.
So here's the thing. Any award show, it doesn't matter which one it is, there is always the possibility that somebody somewhere is pulling strings, right? Whether it is a particular service or a particular person, whether it is, somebody who just has a lot of pull as a writer, any of that kind of stuff. You know what, J. Robert Dean? Yes, I would gladly adopt you, Jokes.
I mean, technically, you kind of did, because you know what? You took me under when I first got my first job. Remember, right? Honestly, I started working with Gage. That was my first job.
Yes, this is very true.
That was my first job.
Very true. Tony says, I always weight SAG over Emmys. I mean, again, and listen, I've heard nothing but great things about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, here's the thing about Ted Lasso, though. Ty is recommending it, so you got to have a little bit of restraint there when it comes to him recommending something.
And then I have to say, so Jason Sudeikis, so can I just say, I have to say something.
Sure.
The two people that I'm told is when I have makeup on, you've seen me without makeup. When I have makeup on, I look like I'm the love child of Olivia Wilde and Evangeline Lilly. And right now, I'm feeling really awkward because Olivia Wilde left Jason Sudeikis for Harry Styles, and Evangeline Lilly is now in oh God, now I can't remember the name of the film.
She's in that new show where her hair, she's got it short hair. With
she's a cancer patient, and she needs certain drugs, I believe. And Jason Sudeikis' character commits a crime to be able to get her the drugs, and they have this beautiful love story. Looks like a great film, and now all eyes are on Jason Sudeikis and Evangeline Lilly. Like the whole film is like promoting all these images where she's like sitting on his lap and kissing him and hugging him, and I'm sitting there like, Mom, stop.
And the question is, will you have to cut your hair and go blonde to recreate?
Oh, I would. I rarely had my hair long in my entire life. My mom had cancer, very advanced cancer, and I have military in all my family, and so short hair in solidarity and just for ease has always been popular in my family. So the fact that I have hair this long is bizarre for me.
Really? Is that a result of just what like COVID
I
was
shaved
like?
the back of my head for a few years.
Okay.
It's
I
totally
think then we just have to dye it blonde, and we're right back on track. I think.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't think I would look like the Pink Ranger if I had my hair shaved. So maybe I'll wait a little while before I do that.
Wigs are allowed. Wigs are allowed.
I should show you. So this whole place here is actually a new move for me. I moved in the summer. I was a stereotype for 2 years. I was living in a family member's basement. For 2 years, and now I have my own place. And right upstairs from here, I have floor to ceiling cosplay. So it's all my cosplays from wall to wall, floor to ceiling, and the whole ceiling has all my wigs. It's at least 20, 25 wigs.
You haven't TikToked that?
I was about to say.
I did. I did something about it, and my friend Allie Z Cosplay, she's like, you have a cosplay rack? I throw mine in a bin. And I was like, I'm so proud of my cosplay rack. Like, I'm so proud of this. Like, this took a lot of work. And how many years of living in a basement with cockroaches and spiders, I earned this.
Indeed. We're happy for you.
Yes.
So, what's up, cousin?
Yes.
I see you there, Rich. Rob said the show is south of Haven. It's south of Haven that we were trying to think of. Blonde Babs coming soon.
For the Evangeline Lilly movie.
Yeah. Listen, I think Finch is going to be an excellent movie. I don't know whether or not Apple TV is going to get my $5, but
maybe you'll give it and then refund and give it and refund and give it and refund.
That's I can just.
I get my iPhone 13, which will probably be a thing, I'm pretty sure I'll get another free year of Apple TV again.
Exactly.
So,
wait, do you have to have an actual Apple TV?
No. No, you don't actually have to have an Apple device. You just have to have the account, whatever. But typically, Apple always, whenever you get a new device from them, they typically, whether it's 6 months, a year, they typically always give it to you. So, like, I upgraded and got the iPhone 12 Pro Max when it came out. I got a free year of Apple TV when it came out. So they pretty much keep doing, even if you've already had it, they just keep renting and repeat it. So for me, honestly, I probably will never pay for it because I typically do the upgrades every year. So they
switch phones anyway.
So they just keep giving me, here's another free year. Here's another free year. So
I mean, which is the thing, right? When you have something like that happening and you have the sheer number of people who have iPhones and upgrade and switch and you give it away, you have a large number of people who just have access and therefore will watch your programming because it's there. Like, we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, how like it we don't talk about it enough, but honestly, like Apple Arcade actually probably is the best priced like deal in gaming. It's not better than
have a grown-up phone, Jay Roberts.
But you know,
J. Robert, what type? Wait, J. Robert, what type of phone do you have?
I agree with J. Robert. If we're on the same page, I was gonna say this and then I was like, no, Babs, be nice. Be nice, don't say this.
No.
I was like,
No need to be.
I don't understand how you can be a self-respected nerd and have an Apple device.
Really?
Hey!
wow,
Yes!
Man,
Yes!
God.
Yes.
Flip that!
Hey, listen,
Put that on
hey, Joe,
TikTok.
hey, listen. Hey,
My
listen, Joe, listen.
Samsung.
And I know that there are some iPhone lovers in the chat.
I'm waiting for Domingo
But
to come out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
wait for the
Oh,
come out of
Tread
nowhere.
Give
very
me the
carefully,
hate.
Joe.
Give me the hate. Give me the hate.
Oh no, I will forever
Oh,
stay in
Babs,
the
you
Apple
understand how you just
ecosystem.
made our day by saying that?
Hey, listen. If I wasn't dressed like an actual Android today, if I wasn't cosplaying as an
Oh my
actual,
gosh.
like,
Oh,
The
Hey,
only
Tyrell.
thing that you know what makes me feel inferior for having like all non-Apple devices?
What's
TikTok. I look like I'm in the Middle Ages on TikTok. I can take the most beautiful photos and most beautiful videos on my Galaxy phone, and then I film something on TikTok, and I look like I'm holding a camcorder
Yeah,
from
work your tech support,
1998.
it can't be that bad. Like it.
It's
Listen,
bad in comparison. I'm spoiled on the beautiful camera that I have with my Galaxy Note S9. Beautiful. Like I would have people over, and I right on the other side of me, I have a hooked into the ceiling backdrop.
yeah.
And so I would say, come over, take photos in my little studio. And they'd say, I would take it with my phone, but your phone takes better pictures and video.
Sure.
And I'm spoiled. And then I go on a TikTok and people are like, oh, you have an Android, you look like shit.
So I get the flack, but when it comes time for TikTok, you can't quite make good video quality.
I know. Well, do you guys just watch TikTok or do you actually make TikToks? I haven't seen your account yet.
Anything that we've ever done on TikTok has just been another video that we've like uploaded to it. Like we don't actually use TikTok to make anything. But you know what? Here's the thing. I've been an Android guy forever. That's not true. I was a Windows.
I was about
guy
to say,
for a long
search
time.
your Microsoft phone. No,
But even when I had like Windows phones, I still had Android phones. Like I still had Android, you know what I mean, Android devices. I totally believe you when it comes to your pictures and your videos and so forth. But here's the thing: how many followers do you have on TikTok, Babs?
Oh my gosh! So I recently had a spike. I nearly 5,000 people more on TikTok. I'm now at 20,000, a little over 20,000. And I'm so great. I don't think I quite understand how difficult it is to get that amount of followers, because I didn't, whatever numbers I got on Instagram. I know it's not a satisfying answer, but I don't know how I got them. I don't know how I got them.
No, that's okay. That's totally okay.
Somebody, one of my coworkers in the Unworthy production, she came up to me and she's like,
I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in there now.
How did you get the followers that you did on Instagram? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. And that was it was not the right answer. I shouldn't have said that. I should have said something like, oh yes, I did this and that. And I don't know. I think I just kept on doing the things that I liked. I made good friends who shared my posts, and I didn't care what anybody thought of me. So I'm just a ridiculous goofball, as you can see on my TikToks.
Indeed.
And I think maybe by virtue of that, I got good numbers, but that, I never really cared about it. And most people thought I bought them, and I never once did.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, here's the thing. There is something to be said for being genuine. And again, I think those are the kinds of things that shine through. Like for sure, like your Instagram, you have like 55,000 followers plus. Your TikTok is 20,000 plus now, an extra one because J. Robert Deans just went
And
and
Yep.
there will be
Yep.
more, listen. But here's the thing. Again, there is something about being super genuine that I think always shines through, right? You do, and you have incredible work. And so when you have that, people just, you know what I mean? They go there, they flock to it. And that's, what it comes down to. And so I think as long as you maintain, there are some people who I think can fake it, like who they create a persona, which is not necessarily a bad thing. They create a persona, and that's the persona that they have, and that's who people are following. And the real person maybe isn't even that person that you see on social media. But I do think that there is something to being genuine, and people seeing that and feeling like they actually know who you are. And I think that's the thing that makes people decide that they want to follow and hang out. Like for us, we don't want to do anything but like, we do consider ourselves subject matter experts, but that doesn't matter if nobody else thinks we are. So when we talk about the things that we talk about, either you agree or you disagree. We are knowledgeable or we aren't, but we're not leaning into anything specific to do it. So it just has to happen naturally.
And that's how we met. If I don't remember it completely. I remember it was MagFest 2019. I was asked by my wonderful friend John Kim, Candid John Kim on Instagram. He said, please, just try this one con out. Just take my word for it. Come with me. And I went to MagFest 2019, and I remember like just sitting down and hanging out with my friends there. We were just hanging in the Gaylord, and then you had come up and you'd said, hey, we're doing some interviews of some cosplayers. Would you come over here? And do you know that video, if you searched my username, Babs Butcher, on Google, your video is what came up first for at least a year and a half.
That's awesome. Like it really is. That's awesome. Like that.
Yeah.
Listen, you were already doing great work. You know what I mean? Like we knew who you were. It's not like I didn't know who you were at all.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, that's Babs right there." I was like, "Where? Right there."
Yeah.
No. We didn't know each other. You didn't know me. I didn't know you.
We hadn't met, but I knew who you were.
But we knew you from online. Yeah.
Oh, you played it cool then, because you're like, what's your name?
Well, because here's the thing. You don't ever want to go up to somebody and be wrong. You know how like you see somebody in real life and you're like,
ain't that such and such?
I'm pretty sure that's who that is. If any of you have ever had that moment where you see somebody going down the street and you're like, oh, what's up, Steve? Oh, that's not Steve.
That's not Steve.
Like you don't want to have that happen. Kidlet, how are you?
Glad you're doing better.
I hope you're doing well and recovering well. It's super good to see you hanging out in the chat with us.
Oh, so do you see what J. Robert Dean says? As fantastic as the cosplay examples were, as lovely as the young woman she is following with smart ass.
That's right.
That's a follow I appreciate.
There it is. There it is. Look, Slay said followers are weird, man. We'd have none, then boom, 10,000 one weekend, then silence, and then a spike. It's not predictable. You can't tell, right? It's like you do a video that happens to be something that everybody wants to see. You post a picture that happens to be something that everybody wants to see, and you use the right hashtags or whatever it is in the moment, and it blows up or it means something or it turns into something.
And I think one of the biggest things, I know you didn't ask this question, but one of the biggest things that I associate with numbers on social media is it's an improv rule. If anybody knows improv acting, you are tasked with saying yes and. And that is huge when you are doing creative collaborations with people. One of my friends, Cosplay Nay, he will reach out to people for projects. And I remember that's how I really got to know the New York cosplay scene. He and his friends had reached out and they said, would you be willing to come up to Brooklyn and do a shoot with us?
Yeah.
And when you grow up reclusive, introverted, nervous of new people, scared and overwhelmed in crowds, it's really hard to say yes and to opportunities. And I took my past acting experience as a kid, and I said, okay, I'm going to do a yes and. I said, yes, I'll be there. And, what do you need for this shoot? What are you thinking? Yeah. And because I keep doing that for projects, I keep on working with fantastic people who follow through and create fantastic content. And then I meet people who also work with them. And I continue to network and meet people who are just so dedicated to creating something fantastic. And that is a huge part. I think I owe most of any success that I have to the fact that I yes-anded with the right people, and they continue to make fantastic content and be a wonderful friend to me. And that's why 100%. I do what I do.
100%. Your network is not just about who you know, it is about who you know and what those people think of you. And that is the thing that matters the most. And, that's things that we've learned, over time, over doing this. You get used to going up to people who you don't know and saying, hey, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you on camera with a light for 5 or 6 minutes, right? You meet people who are super nervous about it or don't want to do it at all. You meet people who will tell you, I don't know about doing this. And you just say, it's cool. We'll walk you through it. It's not like it's going to be simple. Right. And I think that being, open to meeting people, hearing what people have to say, learning and understanding what their journeys are, is not just key in doing something like what we do, but is just key as a whole in life. Right. Because putting yourself in a position to meet someone and learn about their background and understand who they are as a person without judgment, because you get to know them as a person, is a big deal. And that is the kind of thing that helps and keeps communities like what we have here going. It just, it really is. There's just no two ways about it. I need to take a moment. Kidlet, I see that you said that you're okay and you're better. Surgery went well today, and I'm super glad to hear that. She says hi to you, Babs. Listen, Kidlet, you just, if you continue to be anywhere half as a smart ass as your dad is, the doctors are gonna make sure you get out of there pretty quickly. You get out of there pretty quickly. We're glad you're doing well. Super, super happy you're doing okay. Like I said, that's just such great advice. Yes, and to life, and I agree. Dr. Who said, I can only really approach people while in cosplay. I'm way too socially awkward in real life. Dr. Who, we've known each other for a long time. And I know that that's true about you in some ways, because realistically, things that you like and you're into now that you liked and were into when we knew each other decades ago, I never knew, you liked and were into. And it's a real thing though, that we understand. Again, this is why we feel like it's so important to do shows like this. Kidlet. Did you wake up and say, what the hell just happened to me? Is that what you woke up and said after your surgery? Because I
believe it.
Everybody just looked around.
Yeah.
Kill is good.
Yeah. Look, check this out. I want to watch. There's another trailer that dropped. I want to watch it because I want to get some opinions on this. Let's go now.
You're not like those other ones, are you? You and me, we're connected.
You're gonna have to kill some evil people that totally deserve to die. Because it's your destiny. Well, not your most subtle work. If you're looking for a little constructive criticism.
It's time we put an end to this monkey business.
He's coming for me.
No, he's one of the good guys. He's here to protect us all.
Wow, you look like a badass. I never thought a 6-inch inseam would turn me on.
Okay,
Yo.
Interesting.
Jason Sudeikis is back at it again.
Yeah, wait. Did you hear? So the one that won the Emmys, like pretty much all the Emmys on animation was Primal off of Adult Swim. That's what that
Yeah.
reminded me of.
Yeah, so Primal is Gendy Tartakovsky, who is one of my favorites animators. He did Samurai Jack, and he had to start with like all old school, like what a cartoon show on Cartoon Network 20 years or so ago. I guess his biggest thing probably actually is Hotel Transylvania. Those are his movies. Yeah, Primal was an opportunity for him to do something like Samurai, like that last season of Samurai Jack, that season 5 that was Adult Swim instead of regular Cartoon Network, where they were allowed to really do what I'm sure he wanted to do. Like Primal was an opportunity for him to just like take off and
cut
do
loose.
what he really
By the
does.
way, if there was another gender bend that I would want to prioritize, it's Samurai Jack all the way.
You absolutely should, because Samurai Jack is incredible.
Here comes
Absolutely.
Ty.
The thing is, I think it would be more impressive from a man because I just want to see it in real life. I want to see that in real life. From a woman, I'm just gonna look. I like when I let my Japanese features go, I look like Lucy Liu. So I'm just gonna look like I'm doing Oren Ishii from Kill Bill. So I just don't think I can pull it off in a way that's gonna make people say that's Samurai Jack.
We'll talk. There's a way to do that. I love Samurai Jack. There's a way to do that. We'll talk for sure.
But so wait,
all right,
what is this? What we just saw the trailer. What is it called?
It's called Hit Monkey.
Hit Monkey.
Hit Monkey.
Yeah, I wanna acknowledge RX Superstar. They're saying this show is cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I need to acknowledge Ty because Ty, listen, you're right. Marvel animation generally is trash, and DC is the gold standard. However, this looks like Archer, and I love some Archer. It is the cheapest animation you can possibly get, but the show is incredible.
And okay, does
Matt,
this
you're
not
right.
make
That
you...
non-CGI Clone Wars is incredible. That is actually probably Gendy's best work outside of Samurai Jack season 5. Really cool.
Okay, wait. So Marvel, what? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go for it.
Marvel and DC used to be besties at one point, and then they became frenemies over a long period of time. Frenemies, right? They acknowledge each other, they like tip their hats to each other, but they're frenemies. And wasn't there this whole thing where DC was like, just you can make movies, but just don't make TV shows? And Marvel's like, oh my god, never! I would never. No. And then Marvel made TV shows, right? And then DC's like, fucking fine. You can make TV shows. I understand, pandemic, whatever, but just don't make animation. And Marvel's like, oh my god, that would be such a bad move. Like, we would never do that. I'll tell y'all. And then they made What If. And now they're coming out with Hit Monkey, which means they're going, because I was thinking about when I was looking at the Emmys, and I was like, okay, so Primal, Adult Swim, that makes sense. Adult Swim's been doing animation for forever. Then I was like, what about next year for animation? Don't you think What If is going to be up for it? Because Love, Death, Robots, I think, was the other winner. I was like, okay, so then What If is totally going to be up for it. What's he going to do?
I think there's a possibility that we would see, first of all, as great as the DC animated films tend to be, and even as good as their shows tend to be, they're not generally shows that are like award-winning shows.
Yes.
What If is but What If is a different scale of show, specifically because it's tied to the MCU. I think there are more eyes on What If as a show because it's tied to the MCU. Something like
but
Monkey,
like then you have to think about who's the showrunner, who's the producer, who's the director. Are there people that are in the animation studios that are like big wigs, and then the people who vote on the Emmys board are going to be like, oh, we got to do nice things for these people because they're like big wigs.
Nah, you know what? Here's the thing. Realistically, I don't know if that matters as much like as a longtime viewer of shows and lover of product that I have always felt like never got enough love. You know what I mean? Like there's a Lego Voltron behind me. Like I love Voltron, right? Because it's something I grew up on. I loved He-Man way before Netflix decided let's do this again, or before Cartoon Network said let's do this again. I like niche anime. What's my favorite anime, Sin?
Riding Bean.
Riding Bean. Most people are like, what? What is that? Love it. It's like my favorite thing in the world. Like, I do think that if the thing about the Emmys and other award shows like that is that they are, for all intents and purposes, commercials for shows that people haven't seen yet, as well as some level of vindication for people who are watching it and trying to tell other people to watch
it. Why isn't there for you saw how many categories there were at the Emmys? Why isn't there a category for anime?
Because because the Emmys specifically target the U.S. market, and anime is not part of the U.S. market. That's why. Like I am positive that there is a version of the Emmys overseas that they get awards and stuff like that all the time for. It's kind of like how, we have a lot of award-winning writers, people who have like BAFTA awards. Most people here have no idea what the BAFTAs are, but they are equivalent to Oscars and Emmys here, but they're, overseas, they're European. And so it's the same kind of thing. I feel like there will always be some level of distrust for any awards show that makes a lot of money and has a lot of money at stake. And there are always big players at stake. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes to rush to make sure that things hit within a certain date so that they are eligible for, for being considered for the Emmys or for an Oscar or for what
you have the corporation versus you have the electoral vote versus the popular vote.
In a lot of ways, right? Like realistically, the people who probably have the most impact on whether or not a show does really well, regardless of whether it wins an award or not, are probably whoever's running their social media accounts. And that has a lot to do with how much money they put into those social media accounts. I think that that's kind of the way that those things go. When you look, let's put it this way. Have any of you ever heard of Hit Monkey?
I haven't.
Exactly.
No.
But it is a Marvel comic. Most people have no idea what that is or who that is. Somebody said, you know what? Let's think about it. Most people could have cared less about the Guardians of the Galaxy before they were in the MCU, right? Marvel and Disney now have this cachet that they didn't have before because so many eyes are on anything that has Marvel on it. The perfect example is Blade. When the Blade movie, Blade is a Marvel character. When the Blade movies came out, Marvel's name wasn't on it at all. Marvel didn't put their name on it until Blade made money. Then they put their name on it because they didn't want it to be sullied by the fact that people going, oh, a comic book movie or whatever, right? So Blade, truthfully, is one of those films that actually led the way for everything else that we have now that is a comic book movie. And when I say that, I mean the stuff we got in the MCU, not the stuff we got with Spider-Man. Because if you go back and watch that stuff, as much as I love it, and y'all know I do, it's super campy, right? But Blade isn't. Blade is underworld. It's, you know what I mean? It's more serious. It's definitely different.
They're remaking Blade, right?
They are doing a new Blade with Mahershala Ali. People are seriously campaigning for Wesley Snipes to show up in some manner.
Yeah.
They did say they're going to reference it somehow.
Yeah, and plus
like
at this point,
in some way,
multiverse and everything's a thing now, so they could easily just Wesley Snipes just shows up his blade and disappears, and it's done and over with. But
you know what? It would be kind of cool if they made him Whistler, but I don't think they will. I think they could get away with it though, for sure.
I think so too.
I think so.
Wait, just as a side, we don't need to go into this, but did you watch the recent Hellboy? Like the most recent,
newest one. I never watched the newest one.
I did not. I did not. Did you not like it?
I saw it in theaters, and I felt like. Do you guys play D&D ever?
I have. It's been a long time.
I have. Yeah, it's been a while,
Yeah.
but yeah.
If you've ever even watched or heard a story about a bad D&D campaign, that's what it was like.
Okay, so that's not. We don't like that at all. Matt said,
and you're watching it, and you're just like, David, I see all the cut scenes. I see where they cut because I'm seeing David Harbour just go about to go like, fuck this makeup, fuck these prosthetics.
Be tired of
so you can see how frustrating this movie is and how many CG things they had to put in, and ooh, it was so.
Now that makes me actually want to go watch it just to look.
I know,
for those
right?
things.
Yeah, I know. Just so I can laugh and tear it apart.
I don't advise it. Yeah, so that when I think of like remakes of things from our childhood, and then I see things made so poorly in remakes, I go, stop, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily have issues with them. Look, a lot of the people now who are in charge of remaking stuff are people like us. They're people who actually love it and actually grew up on it and actually care about it. But there was no actual reason to do a new Hellboy. That's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Like, I know that the first two Hellboy movies are a little older, but there was really no real reason to do that. Now, I would say that they did that because they had a couple of pretty good Hellboy animated films that I think maybe sparked it for somebody and was like, you know what, we should probably do that. Ty said Hellboy is B-movie gold. That's the first thing you've said all night, Ty, that you were right about, other than the fact that you were late.
The original Hellboy, I think so, but with the recent one, I would say the best CG was there's a troll scene that was excellent CG. The rest of it, you're going. They allowed that. They allowed that to pass through the editing program or process. Like, oh my God, it's so bad. So like they clearly invested CGI in some of the scenes and didn't invest in other scenes. I'm not sure if that's what Ty was talking about, but like, yeah, I do agree. That's something that I talk about with people, and it gets really frustrating because I think a lot of people think that the people who are working on Marvel, DC, Pixar, anything, they value creative integrity. And while in a perfect world, I'd like to agree with them, it's all a corporation.
What's up, Terry?
The reason, like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was good because who cared? The stakes were so low. They could fail and nobody would have cared. But by Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they were like, okay, we can get millions of dollars in toy sales, in merchandise sales.
Sure.
So we're going to focus on Baby Groot because we always, every popular franchise has to have a baby character like Grogu and BB-8. You have to have a Baby Groot, and you have to have silly jokes from Drax and from Star-Lord that take away from the comics and the original story, but make an audience member go, you know? And so people are like, well, the people who are working on Guardians are supposed to be prioritizing creative integrity. No, because they can prioritize creative integrity, and then the showrunner's going to be like, if we don't put this scene here with Baby Groot, then we lose $2 million on merchandise sales. And that's what's going to be prioritized.
I think that, I mean, you're right. So here's the thing. The importance of running a business that is based on creative properties is that those creative properties have to be able to hit multi-channel sales. And so that means if you're making a movie, you have to be able to sell clothing. You have to be able to turn it into a TV show. Is there a possibility to make it into a video game? Can you, like, you have to literally look at all of what the avenues are. One of the things that Disney does really well, that they do way better than DC does and or ever has done, is they target PG-13. They target middle of the road. We can do things that adults can come in and sit down and enjoy, but we will get kids who are 4, and they will be fans for life. That's how that works. That is the thing that Disney is better at than almost any other organization, that has creative properties. So the plan always is and always will be, how can we take this franchise that we have ownership of and turn it into something that kids will actually, when they did a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, yes, they did an animated show. Was the show good? No. Did kids watch it? Yes.
Yep.
Why? Because it was on Disney. Right. And so it tied into all the other things that they knew. So is a Groot being turned into a baby at the very end of the movie the smartest thing they possibly could have done for that franchise? Absolutely.
Oh, him that little planter dancing around?
Yeah,
oh my
dancing
God.
around.
Are you kidding me? Right? But the music placement was just as smart and just as important, because now you have kids that are listening to music that was created so far before they were born that, well, we got to buy this soundtrack. I'm just rocking out. To me, it's new music. Right?
Urban Outfitters got the rights to sell a Guardians of the Galaxy Walkman. Tape Walkman.
Exactly.
Do you see those videos of kids that, kids going like,
I saw that.
Trying to figure it out.
Right. And the
with
moms were filming them going, oh my God, God. I can't believe you don't know how to do this.
But this is one of the things that, again, for us, things that are nostalgic for us and new for them, right? Like, not even joking. Parenthood is a special thing. And my youngest has very recently gotten into K-pop the way my oldest is, right? And so I kid you not, this week, my 12-year-old bought her first CD, right? Her first CD. Now, she's seen CDs before, but like, she's 12. She doesn't need them. You can't do anything with them, right? So she said to me yesterday, I need a CD player. And I was like, put it in your Xbox. You know what I mean? And play it on your Xbox. And she was like, it can do that? And I said, yeah. And so
okay, wait. Can I? Oh, wait, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, I asked her. I said, "Did you put it in your Xbox?" And she said, "Yeah, but it didn't work." And I said, "Give me a second." And I had to download the CD, the audio player app, so that it would work, right? And so she was like, and not only, again, because this was super special technology for us when we were getting CDs, like she put it in and it shows all the names of the songs and who it is. And she's like, wait, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's old tech, sweetie. Like that's not new, but it's new to her. Right. And so there is something to be said for us now having control over things that we loved as kids, like a He-Man. Like I tried to introduce her to She-Ra. She didn't care. You know what I mean?
Oh.
She didn't care at all. But
can I make an announcement that's related to He-Man?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I am not sure if you watched the He-Man Revelation on Netflix.
Yes, we did.
I watched it. I understand why people there's a mixed bag of reviews. I haven't watched the more CG version. I saw that there was more like there was another one that was put on to Netflix, but I watched the one with what's her name? Who is Buffy?
Oh, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Mm-hmm.
And as what was her name? Tila.
Tila.
And Lena Headey as Evil Lynn.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it for what it was. It's very derivative. It's stories that you've seen before. I think a lot of stories try to be edgier by killing people off.
Sure.
Game of Thrones style. They're like, "Ooh, we'll jump on that train and we'll be edgy, and people will like us." But people are like, "Yeah. We've seen the kill people off gig. We're sick of it now."
Mm-hmm.
So I think He-Man, jumped on that train to be edgy, but everything else about the writing was kind of derivative. We've seen it before. However, I did actually enjoy it, especially because Sarah Michelle Gellar, my Buffy gal, and Lena Headey, my Cersei. I I did enjoy the voice acting. And I didn't enjoy the animation. I'm going to be working with a crew who's doing a fan film of He-Man Revelation.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, and I was cast as the villain, Evil Lynn.
Really?
Hey,
I think
that
that'll
is
be
dope.
awesome.
Yeah, I think you're gonna body that.
So
Are we
wait,
doing
let
long
me
white
tell you.
hair?
He's like, hold
Uh-oh,
up.
here we go.
Let's go.
Show and tell.
Here we go. Doctor Who, we'll talk about K-pop and why that's a thing momentarily, I suppose. It's definitely a
I
thing.
don't know if you follow Michelle C. Smith
Yes.
on any social media platform.
Yes.
She does the spinning, but she teaches you how to make your own bow staff out of Home Depot materials, and I did.
Uh-oh.
Sweet.
And I am learning. I am learning.
Okay.
She might
So
be
I
extra badass.
I was gonna say I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
wait. I want some sort of a we need some sort of an exclusive when you guys get ready to put this out. We need to get you all back on here like right before it goes live so that we can put this out for people because that'll be awesome.
Yeah,
Like, I love He-Man.
Awesome. They're an awesome crew. What's really cool, back to that like yes and conversation we had earlier is it's kind of like your favorite directors that kind of work with similar people over and over again. When you find a group in your communities, they kind of all are people who are always working. So what I understand from the community that I've joined by coming into Unworthy and Fight for Film is these people are all writing scripts about all the things that they love. And saying, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so I got cast as Evil Lynn, and I'm gonna be learning bow staff. These people who know bow staff are gonna teach me.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I got to even meet my He-Man. I did a wonderful seminar with former U.S. National team gymnastics superstar, and I think he's like a stunt coordinator in Hollywood, Rory Bratter. Like I got to do a class with him on samurai sword, fight for film, and tricking. And I got to work with a lot of people that I'll probably be working with in the future, and that was just wonderful. So if we can give you any type of exclusive or leaked stuff, or even like a trailer,
amazing, yeah,
that'd be dope.
Yes.
Let me know. I would love to.
Yeah.
I want to. Okay, so Tarius wants to know if we can talk about how we felt about He-Man Revelations. Let's go around the horn. So, Jokes, yay or nay? Did you like it or not?
Well, skip me because I didn't watch it.
All right, so that's a fail.
Skip.
Sin, I know you watched it. It was only 5 episodes. Dude. What's wrong with you, man? All right,
it's Jokes.
He-Man's just not me. I know it's 5 episodes, but unlike you guys, I wasn't really invested in going into it. Even though it's a couple of episodes, like I do, like I told you before, I do want to actually go through and actually watch the original
That's why
He-Man
your
series.
opinion is important to this because you're not invested in He-Man in any way.
No,
like
I've never watched the original He-Man because remember I wasn't allowed television. That was before I was born.
Yeah.
So you know what my introduction to He-Man was? That shitpost YouTube video. Hey,
no. Heather's right.
I was like, oh, that's He-Man, the one that sings that song. And people are like,
no.
Oh my god,
that's not how that's supposed to work. But I mean, I guess that's how that works. That's
how it works. Yeah, hey.
All right, here's the deal. Sin.
Oh, that was good.
How'd you feel about He-Man? Okay.
Yeah.
Here.
We're spoiled on good animation now. We're spoiled on good animation. So while the actual drawing was beautiful, the storyline was
yeah, it didn't overall work for me.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay. So here's what I like about what they did with He-Man. What I like about it is that they took some chances, right? That I think that what they did with it was they did not attempt to play it safe. And I can always appreciate that. Do I think that where the show is going is going to end up being cliche? Absolutely. But right now, those 5 episodes and what they did in those 5 episodes, what I appreciate about it even though like I'm not a huge fan, I'm not like, oh my goodness, you need to watch He-Man. That's not where we are at all. But as someone who grew up with the show and the characters, many of those characters you don't get to know any of them intimately. Like you don't know anything about Orko, you don't know anything about Evelyn, you don't know anything about the background of these characters. And the way that animation and TV shows and things work now is that you are given an opportunity to get to know the characters, all of the characters, not just the titular character. You get to know all of them very well and choose your favorite character and pick the one. And many times people's favorite character isn't the one whose name is attached to the title. And so as much as I grew up loving He-Man, right, and enjoying the show, I still love because I had the toys, right? And when I was watching the show, there was a lot of nostalgia hits for me of like, oh, snap, there's Ram Man. Oh, snap, there's Clamp Champ. Oh, my goodness, there's Stinkor. Oh, they put Moss Man in here. Like, they really did grab and pull from a lot of places where, like, if you knew, you would know, and it would matter to you. And if you didn't, it wasn't something that was in the way. And so I think that having somebody like Kevin Smith tied to it is why it was good at that. I think they should have waited until they had all of the episodes done and done all of it. I don't think doing 5 episodes, having it stop, and then doing another 5 is the right way to do it, because I don't think that the way that it ended in terms of a cliffhanger was good for the show. I think if they had put it all out and allowed people to see it all, it probably would have done better. J. Robert Dean says He-Man was always about its camp, UK meaning, aspects. Its modern fandom just won't have that now. Listen, in the comic books, in the last couple of years, they did a He-Man Thundercats crossover that is incredible.
I was going to bring that up.
It's so incredible. And I mean, like, it is, and it's stupid. It's a stupid, listen. Let me, okay, listen. Before I make people
calm down, get yourself together.
Yeah, let me say something. Y'all know comic books are dumb, right? Like the things that happen in anime and in comic books and in cartoons, it's all dumb. We love it because we love it. And because you can do those things when you write a story. You're allowed to do it. Like Narnia, stupid. You can't walk through a closet and go into another world. It's stupid. But we love it, right? Because we're there for the suspension of disbelief. So we allow Sin to like Fast and the Furious because it's all fake. And so
really? Really?
Hey,
out of everything,
he's got to support his family. It is what it is.
In this story, right? Basically, what happens is Mum-Ra attempts to get the Sword of Omens and fails, and so the evils that he specifically works for end up basically making a deal and find a way to take their world and send it to Eternia, and they say, we finally found a weapon that can defeat the Sword of Omens, and it's He-Man's sword. It's the power sword, right? So they make this plan for them to go to Eternia. You can't
steal it from a barbarian cat. You just gonna go steal it from a barbarian, dumbass.
Right.
Shit.
Listen. But here's the, so listen. In the first issue, and I won't tell you any more past this because I don't want to spoil it beyond that. But like, that's right, Rob. It's not fake. It's family. In the first issue, as they show up, it basically is one of those things where like Lion-O and his camp think that He-Man and his people are the evil ones, and He-Man and his camp think that Lion-O and so on forth are the evil ones. Well, as He-Man gets ready to raise his sword and say, I have the power, the sorceress shows up and says, no, they're here for the sword. I'm going to take the sword and I'm going to put it in Castle Grayskull so they can't get it. And so Adam is like, all right, and gives the sword to her. And it turns out that it's actually not her. It's Mum-Ra. And Mum-Ra stabs Adam through the chest with the sword in the first issue. Right through the chest with the sword. Okay?
Marcus,
and it
you're
turns
going to
out
get that hammer if you don't be quiet.
that the
You're going to say right now.
Made a deal with Skeletor to double cross Mum-Ra. It's a whole thing. You need to, this comic is fire. He-Man.
Wait. So I didn't know. Okay. So I recently visited one of Raph's friends live in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's family. He's family. And he's in Connecticut, and he pointed at something in one of his collections, glass case collections. He says, you know, what's that? And I was like, oh, I have no idea what that is. And he goes, oh, what the hell? And I said, I wasn't allowed cartoons. I wasn't allowed TV. I don't know anything. And especially it's from the 80s. I don't know what it is. Thundercats.
Yeah.
So I never watched Thundercats in my entire life. And so then I look it up because I look at Lion-O and I'm like, that's a really cool character. I would love to cosplay Lion-O.
Sure.
And I look it up and I'm like, what in the Alabama freaking backwoods deliverance bullshit is this? Because the premise of Thundercats is he is a child put into an adult's body.
Correct.
And the whole thing is like, oh, he's gonna have, you know, a little bit of an intimate moment with a woman, but he's a child.
He can't do it. It's not okay.
That is not gonna pass. Gonna pass the vibe
I gotta be. Listen, this is how. Like I love Thundercats. There's a Chitara right here, all the time, right here, because I can't. You know,
can you imagine? Like Shia LaBeouf is Lion-O in the remake of Thundercats.
Please don't ever do that.
Do not. Absolutely not.
No way. No way.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, listen. Like I said, shows are bad. Like it's just. All of that stuff we allow it because, like, as a kid, like I don't know. I think it's cool because Lion-O's a kid, he's in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like as a kid, I'm not even joking. I found
it's big, but in cartoon form, that wouldn't pass in today's time.
No, you can't. I mean, they might do it, but it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? I'm not even joking. Today, I saved a post that had. I found life-size replicas of Panthros nunchucks today. I got and I'm gonna buy those.
You got them bookmarked like
right.
They are coming home. They are Panthros
nunchucks right now.
I am buying those. They are coming home. No two ways about it. And yes, Matt, you're right. It's Shazam. It's just like Shazam.
Well, now here's how you see if it passes the vibe check. Put a woman in Lion-O's role. So like I was like, oh, I could gender bend Lion-O. What are the implications of that? Like, oh, a little girl is in a woman's body. Oh, look at how sexy she is. Oh, so sexy with those big boobies. Like people would be like, no.
You can't do that.
You cannot do that.
You're right.
You can't do it.
J. Robert Deans. You know what? That is very listen. It's an accurate description. We don't listen at this point, right? Like, you can't be apologetic for the things they put on TV for kids in the 80s. Like, you just got to keep moving forward. You just can't. And again, there are tropes and things that happen in those that, like, as you try to bring those things forward, like people are like, man, they should bring back Thundercats. I don't know if that's right. Like, that might
go back and rewatch it nowadays.
Yeah, like. You would definitely have to change some things for sure. Oh, you know what? Jokes.
Yo,
I have something to show you. We're gonna watch something real quick before we wrap this up. It's almost time. Well, that's actually time to go, but we're gonna do this anyway. You ready? Here
go.
Go
For it.
I've spent a lifetime studying the dark arts and uncovered many unnatural forces, but none compared to the Urn's powers.
Hello? Excuse me, Undertaker. It's your boys, the New Day!
My Urn loves to consume the souls of the good.
We want to add the power of the Urn to the power of positivity, because then we'd be unstoppable.
What'd I tell you?
Uncle Taylor! Hey!
My Urn will force you to confront your deepest, darkest fears.
Who has a morgue in their house?
I mean, it is the Undertaker.
That's just fog.
It's Undertaker's fog. I ain't touching it.
All right. It's fine. See?
Are you brave enough to wield my urn? The choice is yours. All you gotta do is join me. Think you're brave enough to face more fear? The choice is yours. If you want the urn, you're gonna have to go through me.
Jokes.
I need you to answer for this.
Explain yourself.
I need you to answer for this, sir.
Listen, look, Ralph is so excited. He's like, I can't wait.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm the same way.
Hey, put that on screen, Sin.
Yes.
I'm excited for the fact that I know some fantastic cosplayers who are going to be bringing characters like Undertaker and I think Bret Hart to life.
Yes. Listen.
So I'm excited for that sense.
But this, are you gonna watch? You have Netflix? Are you gonna watch this?
I'm going to have to, even though this is not usually what I would watch. I am going to watch it out of love.
Okay.
I will.
I dig that. I respect it. I'm gonna watch it because I am super interested in the interactivity portion of it. Jokes.
Yeah.
Explain this to me.
So
what is happening?
Honestly, I think this is because Undertaker is one of his last matches. It became more of a cinematic match. So instead of actually having him in the ring competing like normal, they had it in a graveyard and kind of cut and edited and made everything look like a movie almost. Okay. So I think this is another way that they're trying to use the Undertaker without actually having him get in the ring and probably getting hurt himself. But I think having him in the New Day, I think is a pretty interesting combination. If it wasn't the New Day, I don't think this would go over the way that it would. There's no way around that.
I agree 100%.
Just like Tony said, the interactive part of it just makes it even cooler. Just to know that if you separate Xavier from the rest of them, it's probably gonna be a Scooby-Doo. Exactly. I seen this movie.
Isn't that what this is? And the Scooby-Doo joint with the Undertaker was actually not that bad. But it was not that bad.
So yes, I am very intrigued, and I wonder if it's going to end up at the end of it, how you kind of saw, you got to challenge the Undertaker. If it's going to be like that cinematic style match that they're probably going to actually have with them in the end of it, because when they did the cinematic match for WrestleMania, it was Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Like it actually was pretty clean. Okay. That was the first time.
I'll take your word for it.
It was the first time they had ever done something like that on WWE TV. Matt Hardy did something like that with his Broken character. He did a whole cinematic type thing with it. What's Jay Robert coming out here for?
Hey, listen. You're so right. Because, listen, if it was me sending jokes, we're not going in there.
Nope.
Hell no.
We hear one random thing. It's like, nope.
Not going in there.
Wait. I do have a question. What do you guys do for Halloween? Do you guys do anything?
I sit my ass in the house. That's what I do.
I mean, yes. All right. So here's the thing. So, like, you mean as a group, like we don't really do anything specific.
Yeah.
No, even individually, because like I truly believe that if you got invited to there's in I'm in the Philadelphia area. If you got invited to the penitentiary down here,
what?
Yeah,
which is like apparently like nationally known.
Mm-hmm.
If you got invited to do like a night at the penitentiary, I could see you guys all being like, sick. Yes, let's do that.
This guy right here.
Never. Listen, Sin can't even really watch a scary movie. He's definitely not going and spending the night. That is never gonna happen for him. He just can't. Listen, under the right circumstances with the right people, I would absolutely consider something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all gonna be.
But no, Sin's definitely not doing that.
No, he out.
Now, I mean, you know, my youngest child now is old enough that we don't have to go trick or treating. Like that's not a thing really anymore. I think we might be done with that.
He will
for
for
good.
I see
You
what
know
you did there,
Like,
Marcus.
I think we're
Damn
done.
it, Marcus.
I see what you did there,
For a
Marcus.
long time, I would dress up and sit on my porch with a pumpkin on my head, dressed as like a mannequin, and scare the bejesus out of people when they came up to get candy.
Like for real, when it comes to Halloween, like I would do stuff like that with B, make his front porch like a haunted house. I would go out trick or treating with my god kids, stuff like that. But overall, I just don't celebrate it because my dad never did because in the Navy his ship got bombed on Halloween night, so he never celebrated. So and the bomb went off next to him, and he was the only one that didn't die.
Yeah.
So,
So he doesn't.
So I don't really celebrate
that's
it.
the night for celebrating being alive, not celebrating the dead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct. Here's what I think, Jokes. There is something special about watching the WWE jump further into, like we just talked about, multi-channel and do something with Netflix like this. Having something tied to the Undertaker, who I really feel like is really ready to be done with them as a whole. Having the New Day definitely is a big deal, and the kind of following that the New Day has, because the New Day, they are our people. They are anime geeks. They are like they are. So their following fits this mold to a T. And you know, Netflix has been talking about pushing up their gaming aspects and all that kind of stuff. I think
it's the perfect combination.
It's probably a really solid get for them. We'll see how it is. Like it may not be good at all.
I would love to watch like all of us watch it together.
And just go through it
and just pick the joints, and just have fun.
Down for that. But yeah, no, WWE's definitely.
You like scary movies, though, right?
Sin is not. Sin, listen, if it's scary, he's not. Look at it, he's not
out.
It's not doing it. Like this is one of those things where, like, when we do Extra Life, it's like he's only gonna do something scary if people donate enough money. Like that's just not a thing.
Yeah,
it happened last year.
Oh God, like no, they really mess with me. I don't mess with scary movies. I don't play that. Yes, they scare me. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah,
stay away from it.
He's just it's not a thing for him. Not at all. And, you know,
I'm cool with that.
My oldest loves Halloween, so there will absolutely be like pumpkin carving and all of that jazz happening here. But you know, outside of that, I don't know. We might watch a few movies just for the sake. We have a movie club. And right now I'm trying to decide whether or not I think we should do something Halloween themed for movie club for next month, or whether or not it should be the original Dune, because the new Dune is coming out next month.
Exciting.
Yeah, so we have to make a decision about that. Listen, Freddie is a creep. He is a creep. There's no two ways about it. Any dude that shows up in your dreams unwanted.
Freddy Cougar could be the gender bend version of it, and I'm down for that.
Oh yeah,
Freddy
absolutely.
Cougar. On the prowl for Sugar Baby, maybe
for young Lion-O's.
Okay, wait. Before we go, when do I get to see you next?
So we'll be at Baltimore. Are you going to be at Baltimore Comic-Con? That is October 22nd.
22nd, yeah.
Usually in September.
Yeah, but everything's squeezed and moved now.
Yeah.
So that's in October. So we're doing Baltimore, and
possibly
we
Anime
might
NYC.
Be doing Anime NYC,
possibly,
which is November 19th. Outside of that, we'll be at Ocean City Comic Con, which is December 11th.
Okay.
And then MagFest. Yeah, and then MagFest.
Happy birthday. That's
I know
birthday,
I'm
October 22nd.
definitely going to see you for MagFest.
Okay.
But hit me up about those other dates, and I can try to coordinate. Because I in the Philadelphia area, usually I'm like looking at New York and saying, you know, what's going on. Anime NYC I am aware of, and Baltimore usually is September. I didn't know that they had pushed it to October this year.
Yep.
But one of my favorite things, which you know what we did not do, I had no idea you were at AwesomeCon. I was outside AwesomeCon.
Oh,
dope.
I don't feel comfortable going into cons.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Very much like I'm before the pandemic. I was like,
even before that,
like it was too crowded.
Con crud.
Yeah.
And you get that con crud.
Yeah.
You know, before the pandemic. So I'm like, you know how stupid I would feel a Monday after, and I'm going.
Oh yeah.
I would feel so stupid.
Totally
so that's why I'm not going into cons. So any cons from here on to MagFest. At MagFest, I usually stay outside anyway. I'm just gonna stay outside and shoot and have fun with people on my own time outside of the confines of the con.
That's cool. I mean, if you come up for Baltimore, just let us know.
Hey Matt, Ocean City has a real good Ocean City Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's a one-day con, but it pumps.
Yep,
it's a good one.
Is.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of it. Yeah. I'll check it out.
It's actually relatively new. This is their fourth year, technically, because they couldn't do it last year. But yeah, it's run by some really, really great folks. There's a gentleman named James Doofendock who also has his own publishing company, PLB Comics. And they do Ocean City Comic-Con, and it is for a convention in Ocean City in mid-December. Ocean City is so chill. It's so quiet. Like
out there,
the
peaceful
hotel rooms
Well, I
are
gotta
like
say,
$80 for
anything
oceanfront.
in the Maryland, Virginia, DC area. I was just telling Keen Kwan. I was just telling him, new friend over in New York.
Yeah.
He was asking about cons.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, if you want to go up to New York, you're gonna have a lot of drama, high adrenaline. And then if you go down to the south, you're gonna have a chill time with really consistently cool people. And he was like, I want high adrenaline. Well, no, wait. Atlanta is an exception. Dragon Con is an exception. That is high adrenaline and crazy parties.
Looking forward to getting there.
Yeah.
And also Ocean City, we're gonna have our panel at Ocean City too. So
shoot, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, we did a panel at AwesomeCon. It's we've been doing this panel. It's called Being Comfortable Being a Geek. We just kind of get people together and we talk about just kind of getting into your comfort zone, how to be comfortable being who you are, overcoming social anxiety, like all kinds of stuff like that. So we usually have a few artists or cosplayers on the panel with us. My daughter was on the most recent panel with us because we don't have often enough women on the panel. So it's really good to have her on the panel with us. We did do a panel where it was the three of us. We did a virtual one with like
Thanks,
Joe
Superstar.
Cosplay and
we appreciate that, man.
Definitely appreciate that.
Why am I not on?
I mean, you do realize that in order to be in the panel, you'd have to come in the con, though, right? Like you gotta come.
That's the stipulation about it.
That makes it a little complicated, but we'll figure something out. We can work something out. You definitely should need to be on one of these panels with us for sure. All right, so two things
real
I
quick
need to do
before we close things out. One thing I realized, we never said how we felt about Hitmonkey. At least really quick.
Oh, I think it's gonna be dope.
I think it's
gonna be stupid, but I think I'm gonna like it.
It's gonna be cool.
I think it's gonna be garbage.
No. Listen, I agree with you. I think I'm gonna like it. So I think
fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it's gonna be so bad. Doctor Who, listen, you saying you would do a panel, especially after saying that, like, your social circles, but if you're in cosplay and that helps you, totally down.
Cosplay.
Yeah, come to Ocean City. We can work on that.
Put her in a bubble
and just roll her up onto the stage.
Yep. Here you go. That sounds like a new cosplay. Babs in a bubble.
Bubble Babs.
Right.
Or Babs Bubble.
So two things before we shut down. One is this. So they're doing a Disney Plus day, and they put all this stuff that's going to come out on November 12th. And the only thing I'm super excited about that Shang-Chi will finally be on Disney Plus. So for those of you like J. Robert Deans who weren't comfortable enough to go to the theater to see it, November 12th is when you'll be able to see it.
And that's right in time for Thanksgiving too. That's dope.
That's exactly right. Which it's smart, right? But it also
absolutely. Watch with the family.
It puts it like a week after Eternals comes out, right?
Perfect.
So there's
Perfect
probably going to be something tied in there. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on this Disney Plus Day thing to see if that turns into something else. Because they're also doing like if you look at the bottom of the list, there's a Star Wars special look and a Marvel special look. And there are some really big rumors around what those things are going to be and what they're going to be talking about. Like probably some further details into the current phase and possibly beyond as far as Marvel is concerned and so forth. Also, we have the Star Wars anime. That's getting ready to drop soon. Yeah. So we have to keep our eyes on that. The other thing I have to do is I have to show you this because I need somebody to make this. I need this to be a thing. Somebody needs to look out for me and make this happen.
I'm not gonna lie, those are dope as shit. I'm not gonna lie.
This is a variant cover done by an artist for the Amazing Spider-Man number 75. And that's right. Star Wars Visions is tomorrow. I need, which means, it is. It's tomorrow.
Damn,
and the thing about
I ain't going to sleep.
It's everything. Plus, we have What If, which means double spoiler boys.
Oh God.
I'm gonna need time to absorb Visions. Oh, that's gonna take. Oof.
Yeah, I know. Visions we won't do. Visions we'll do next week, but we obviously have to do What If right away. Right. Yeah, man. Listen, I need these. I need those shoestrings. I need these shoes.
They seem like high top, almost like high top Air Force Ones, like a slightly modified.
Yes,
Jones. I like them, Jones.
I need them. So I'm.
Wait, did you just say Johns?
Oh, he said joints, but like
joints. I said almost. I need them Johns because that's a Philadelphia thing.
Yes, it
Definitely
is.
A Philly thing for sure. Oh yeah, Babs, I meant to ask you, where do you prefer to get your cheesesteaks?
Ooh.
I'm gonna tell you something.
This is not a Pastor-Gino's thing. That's not a real thing. Pastor-Gino's are not places you go and get cheesesteaks. I'm just gonna say that right now. I just need to know where you go.
You go local.
Mom and pops.
You always go local to a fucking hole in the wall. Place.
She gonna get at it?
My personal favorite. I never liked chicken cheesesteak.
No, never.
I never did. Until recently, there's this little hole in the wall, like garbage looking joint in my area where I live now, which is like about 30 minutes from the city.
Okay.
Called Frank's, just Frank's.
Okay.
Right.
Their chicken cheesesteak is out of this world.
Really? See, you're right. Superstar of the bodega.
The quality of the bread, like it's reheatable. The chicken, how they roast it is so good. I got their regular cheesesteak. It doesn't taste good. Their chicken cheesesteak, Frank's. And there's a couple of different locations around the Philadelphia area.
I know I was about to say the same thing.
Road trip.
Listen, you know as well as I do that if we going to Philly, I'm going to Ishkabibbles.
Ishkabibbles.
Right.
I'm going to Ishkabibbles. I mean, we can go over by Drexel. There's a couple places that are cool there, but like, it just Ishkabibbles is easy. It's in South Street.
How to know, like you were saying before, how to know someone's not actually from Philadelphia, and I'm not even actually from Philadelphia. I'm from California.
Yeah.
Is they'll say Butts or Geno's, like no, and honestly, it's not the with or without the cheese whiz. Who cares? It's just getting quality bread.
It's the bread,
quality roast. Oh, so good.
I have insight on Frank's Doctor Who. I'll hook you up. I'll give you some information. I mean, like, listen, bodegas is just the best way to describe it as a mom and pops. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you just go to you go to a joint that basically, like, if you go to a spot that has, like, it's a pizza joint and they got cheesesteaks, they're gonna be better than anything you can get outside of Philly, period. That's so real. Like, they're gonna be better than anything you can get outside of Philly. That's just kind of how that is. My dog says, testify.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah. Okay, listen, we have some rigmarole we gotta do. So, Jokes, you have a job to do, if you would please.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, for all the folks in the chat, that is our link tree. This is where you can go and you can follow us. If you look at the chat that you can see on the screen, you will notice that there are people who are on YouTube, people who are on Facebook, people who are on Twitch, people who are on Twitter, all kind of commenting and so forth. So there are a couple of things that we want you to do. Obviously, we have channels on all those things. So please, if you don't mind, follow us across the board and check out our Patreon. But also, almost everybody that you see who is in the chat also has their own Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or something. J. Robert Deans is an author. Terrius Mahoney has a dope show that's on YouTube where they go over R&B stuff. Like, you guys just make sure you go and follow each other.
Let's grow the
Don't
community.
just follow us. Like, follow us, but like follow each other too. Because again, we're doing some community building. We want everybody to be one big happy family. That's what we're all about here. So if you check out our link tree, you'll be able to follow us across all social media. Post the Johns Jokes for the Bulls. Post the Johns for the Bulls. And you can also, from our link tree, you can find, we have an anime chat on Facebook. So if you're into anime, go there, check that out. Sin puts his hands all through that. That's his thing.
Yep.
K Dizzle, another one who is here, who go follow K Dizzle. Not only a dope, listen, that dude is a dope producer. I've known K Dizzle for a long time. You know what, K Dizzle, I've known you since you were in probably like 4th grade. That's scaring me right now. Look, Marcus has his Twitch in there. Like, feel free, put your links in there. You guys follow each other. It really is important to us that you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have our anime chat. We have an MCU chat, which is always out of control. Where we go and we have a spoiler specific section for every MCU film that comes out, where you can go if you've seen it and other people haven't. You want a place where you can go and say we talk spoilers. That's where you want to be. You want to be in MCU chat. We have a wrestling chat. Jokes just had a chat with our friend Marcus, who's also just posted his Twitch. He had a wrestling chat the other day. So we have a wrestling chat. If you're into wrestling, that's the place you want to be, where you can go and talk about all that kind of stuff. And then we also have our Loading Snacks Movie Club, which again, we pick a movie every month. We watch that movie, and at the end of the month, we have an in-depth discussion about that movie that goes live. The first 30 minutes of that chat is only for our patrons, but then the rest of it we do live. So people can
it's uploaded now, Tony. It's uploaded now, Tony.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there, Cuddy.
Yeah,
it's there. It's in the Patreon. Jokes is behind. Feel free to get on him about that. Terrius just dropped his link again. Hit that. Now, Sin, you have a job to do. If you would, please.
Sure. So let's shout out our top tier patron, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Deutsch, and Tyrone Carson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Absolutely. We certainly do. We love y'all for being our top patrons. Again, I see everybody dropping their links and so forth in the chat. Again, please do that. Now, a little more housekeeping before we get to all of Babs' links, because we want to make sure we post those again. As a matter of fact, Jokes, go ahead and post Babs.
I'll pop back in there again.
Yeah.
Again, we have the merch store, and we have some new merch in there that is a little more anime, centric. So, little anime for Loading Snacks with the subtitles at the bottom. If you want to go and check that out, you hit the merch store again. That link is also in the link tree. Please make sure you guys go and follow Babs. Babs, it has been so awesome to have you here with us.
You are great.
I'm so glad you didn't have to leave early.
You are great. Yeah.
We've had such a great time. Marcus, listen, that hashtag where's Beats and Beatdowns? I will tell you right now what's going on with Beats and Beats Down, if I may. We are working on putting some new footage together to be cut and chopped up 4K to do for new Beats and Beatdowns. We also have some new episodes of Show and Tell that are coming, so we can show off more of our Lego collections and our shoes and all of our collectible stuff, because as geeks we can't stop ourselves. So we have plenty of stuff to show off there. And I want y'all to know that we also have Extra Life coming up. So November 6th, we will be playing video games for 24 hours straight. You can donate to our team. All of the proceeds go specifically to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I personally play for Children's Hospital in DC, but you can play for any hospital that's a Children's Miracle Network hospital, or you can just play for the organization as a whole. Sandy usually play for John Hopkins in
Baltimore.
Baltimore. But we do this every year. We always have a great time. It is actually it's 25 hours for us because it's usually daylight savings time. So we usually use 25 hours. But we will absolutely be doing that 24 hours straight. Feel free to tune in. If you are interested in at joining our team to collect money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals, you can do that. There is a link, Jokes, if you could put that link up. It's in our link tree, but let's make it.
I'm gonna throw it in. I'm gonna throw it in there by itself.
You can join our team, and you don't have to play for 24 hours. Let me just make that super clear. We're gonna do 24 hours.
Right.
You can do 4 hours. You can do 12 hours. You can do 8 hours. You can do 2 hours. If you want to jump in and just do something really, really dope, push the link out, your own personal link out to people on Facebook or Twitter or wherever your social medias are, and take donations. All is welcome. We always
join the team. It's all about raising money.
Really awesome cause. And we super, super enjoy doing that. So that is November 6th. Keep your eyes open for that. We'll have more information coming. We also will have our breast cancer shirts on sale soon that we do every October for breast cancer awareness. All the money that we collect for those shirts we don't take any of that personally. We donate all of that for breast cancer research. So that will be coming soon. Keep your eyes open for that. Outside of that, I just want to take another moment to thank Babs for being here. Babs, you are so awesome.
Yeah.
Please make sure you all, if you are not already following Babs, go follow Babs. Hit the link tree. Hit every link that's there, including her Patreon, right? Because you have some specific stuff that only goes to your Patreon, correct, Babs?
Oh yeah, my Discord channel and my private YouTube. And then I do update videos on my Vimeo for certain tiers. I only have 3 tiers, but yeah, no, I have a really good community. I call them the Goblin Gang. Matt Sauer, he's part of the Goblin Gang. It's like how you said, everybody in the chat, everybody who's Loading Snacks crew, all good people. I don't know why. I'm so freaking lucky that I have the nicest people who surround me. There's no craziness. There's no drama. It's just all kindness. I love that.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Super awesome. And that's the way we like to keep it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I was listening to you, telling what you're up to in the next couple months or so, and how did I get so lucky? How did I get so lucky to meet you guys? I did something good in a past life, I think.
That's right. That's right. Fate. Nothing but happenstance happens by happenstance. That's how we'll keep that one.
Everything happens for
all right. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We have had a really great time. I thank you for being so active in the chat. We're responding to what we're doing. We do this every week. Usually it's on Tuesday nights. Always at the same time, 8:30. It doesn't always run this long, but listen, if we're having a good time, we let the show go off the rails. We don't have rails here. We just
we talked about that beforehand.
There's a plan. I have an outline for what the show is going to be like, but
with y'all in the chat, sometimes we don't know how this is going to go.
Create the plan,
the TVA doesn't interfere. The TVA does not interfere on your screen.
That's exactly right. This show is made up of the multiverse. It could go any direction. Literally, the start of this show is a Nexus event. It's just
create the plan, execute the plan. Plan goes off the rails, throw the plan away.
What you will know is that we will always have a good time. We will always have good people. We will always show a lot of love.
Batman or Spider-Man.
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something, Marcus. You like to stay in trouble, Marcus, and we love you for being there.
You do.
No Wayne Tech tonight. We didn't have any trouble with Wayne Tech tonight. I haven't badmouthed Batman at all. And we showed a lot of love to Spider-Man. He has the best shoes you've ever seen. So I think we're doing all right. Okay, so for myself, Gage, for Jokes and for Sin and for Babs, thank you again. We're out of here. Toodles and Lose. Babs don't go anywhere. Not just yet.
Okay, I'll stay here.
See y'all.